What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. I have so many freaking tabs open for today's market watch. I probably could do 3 of them instead of just 1, but a ton of you guys enjoy that information laid out in front of you, and I'm gonna try to keep it in a timely manner, but bear with me if I open a tab and take a little bit, okay? Starting off with the roller coaster ride of the day, Dark Magician Ghost Rare. It's gone from $750 one day to $1,000 the next to $2,000 during that night, and now we see listers back in the market around $1,250 and not instantly selling. You have sleeved, near mint, newer lister, only 24 sales though, so people not as apt to just jump on that one. And then a top rated seller, although not as many sales either, around $1,300. Then you see $1,500 where the line starts to have a ton of vendors going. I thought this would fall out a little bit slower after that jump, people wanting to wait and see what would happen, but as this gained attention, people went, you know what, this was $750, that's a free double up, I'm going in at the $1,500 mark. And I get why people would do that, because when we look at 10,000 Dragon, you have a much more established market and a ton of these left over to the OCG market. I know the Japanese came in and ended up buying this off of the market initially, and that was that first spike, but then it fell down really quick after that. Remember trying to stick to 2K originally and then falling back out to 1250? Well, those have been gone, and now you're sitting on like PSA copies being the cheapest in a weird roundabout fashion on TCG Player, but other places you are just seeing this readily and more available. So people do like to sit back, watch, and wait even when something does have attention on it. And I think Ghost Dark Magician, though, is a much more iconic card than 10,000 Dragon, but 10,000 Dragon is also a one-of-a-kind. Now, we did see that an Australian store put Ghost from the Past Unlimited up for pre-sale, dropping in July, and they seem to be pretty reputable. We still don't know if Ghost from the Past will be fully distributed to all zones or just EU zones, or specifically Australia. Usually, Germany's how we hear about re-releases first on EU distribution product. I did a whole video on that yesterday though, so check that out. But my thoughts in general, to just speed it up, is that I don't think any first edition Ghosts will be dipping in price from that announcement necessarily, and a ton of these though, the bottom end of the set might get ripped open, and a ton more singles where you finally see healthy amounts instead of just 14 or 17. Maybe you'll finally see those hundreds of listings as people look at the estimated value pulled, vendors get an actually good price on Ghosts from the Past from distro, and hopefully we line up with even cheaper singles. Although everything's pretty affordable right now, I don't mind seeing things cheaper for the players and actual penny stonks evolve instead of all these, yeah, you actually have to pay $3 for this playset of something that should be quarters from a March reprint set. El Shaddoll Winda has some interesting movement, a lot of low quantities on the market, although the structure deck Shaddoll Showdown does help us have that alternate art. But I noticed that Duelist Alliance has been up, and I don't know if this is for some time or not, but the first editions are relatively off the market to the point of $17. Last I had checked, it was $12, so this is news to me. At least all the attention seems to always go towards construct rather than the one you're actually throwing up on the board the most, I think. The secret rare is another nice version of this, as low quantities, and then you do have an ultra mega pack competitor for original, but first set original is doing relatively well for itself, and maybe Duelist Alliance format will take off one day. I've seen a lot more people playing Satellar mirrors for some reason on Dueling Book. I digress though. If Duelist Alliance format ever took off, first edition original isn't bad to have either, and she keeps floating back into formats. Apparently there's a VW FTK with Dyson Sphere. I once got slammed by this on Dueling Book and Dueling Network to date it, in an ancient clip where I was just sick, but I was doing those 7-hour grindy streams to 8 people. I got slammed. That was my first ever big donation, $7 freaking dollars. And Dyson Sphere coming back to haunt me once again on market, and C9 only has 1 printing and has been bought out as well. I think the feature is over on MCole40's channel. Should you be buying Ancient Guardians? My answer is an emphatic no, unless you're after the singles. I'm incentivized to tell you to buy it sealed. Use code TheWhat'sGood5 to support the channel and get 5% off. And if I ever start suggesting bum sets, well, come after me, seriously, because I think Ancient Guardians, you should be buying the singles. Lightning Overdrive, so far with the reveals, you should probably be buying the singles. You have Scrap Raptor, Diviner, but there are a ton of sets to be excited for coming up after that, in my opinion. King's Court is one of the ultimate gambles. I'm personally personally going to be rolling the dice and getting a couple of cases. I'm going to free roll in the sense it's real money, but I'm going to use what I would get from payouts from sponsors to sink a little bit into King's Court and watch that sealed sit on it and hope that it turns out well. But we really don't know a lot besides an overly positive kind of message from Konami in the set description. And with that, is it enough for me? I've been lied to before about Theseus, although Theseus finally panned out, huh, Jerome? But I'm gonna go ahead and roll the dice on this one, personally, and then I really like a ton of other upcoming products. You have Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm, Dawn of Majesty, the Tens of Ancient Battles, which have Rise of the Duelist, Eternity Code, so many good sets inside. Oh, also, I just want to note, usually I don't play into the market. I don't buy, sell, actively vend. This is a sealed long-term investment for me. I don't plan to just sell boxes or just hawk the cases off immediately. I plan to sit on this for some time. And also, I did very early bird pre-order so as not to take cases out of anybody's mouth. Now, if I'd done that with Toon Chaos with shorting and allocation, I would have been taking that away from somebody, but I think King's Court is just going to be under-ordered, underlooked at with all the amazing upcoming sets after it. That's why I'm going for it. But people have also been asking if they can still pre-order tins in my DMs and asking if they can get them direct from me. I don't actively vend, but you can go and get them over on Gamer's Choice with code WhatsGood5 for 5% off this already insanely cheap price of $106.99, nice, and support the channel directly while getting yourself a discount. These are still some of the best pre-orders left, and I see a lot less people starting to offer those nice early bird pricings. Next up, we have Doom Caliber Knight Turbo Pack bought out. I guess it's the next nicest thing to a Jump Ultra Rare, another Ultra Rare. And Caliber Cat is a true pass format that people actually do like to look up. $180 is pretty ridiculous though, but this is Turbo Pack 1. Isn't the ultimate rare a Judgment Dragon, or am I mistaken? Yes, it is JD, which has had its own ridiculous rounds of buyouts. And then the Teledad Karibons. Heraclinos for other pass formats. Its ultimate rare just got bought out again, and it's racing with that first edition. So you see it's at $100 right now. And Glad Beast format, that's what people used to come back to. It's very nostalgic to people. I went and I played Gladiator Beast when the next ban list dropped. Now that's like Burning Abyss, and other decks have replaced it over time, of course. But back in the day, back in my day, people did that. And first edition is around 120. So these are very close. And watching price histories, I do wonder if the ulti will overtake such as Dark Arm did. When we look at Dark Arm Ultimate Rare, after some time it finally passed up the first edition original and is now like 365, and they've been racing somewhat neck and neck, but it finally pulled ahead long term, and now Unlimited Dark Arms are getting a bit of a buyout. Unlimited Secrets and Unlimited cards like LOB have really been getting looked up lately, and it's kind of crazy. And hey, thanks for subscribing to the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Sometimes I think I should maybe wonder about those notifications. But we have the first edition originals around 280 before they do start to spike, but very few on market. So people have been slowly buying these and buying into them, and Dark Arm Dragon, one of those ultimate old school cards. The Crush card Gold Rare getting bought out over and over as well. Old cards are worth a lot of money, but it is interesting to take this finer look at. Actually, this is bypassing first edition Secret, but Secret is keeping pace on multiple old cards and sometimes even winning out long term. Sky Striker Ace Kagari got a buyout not too long ago, and I mentioned it's not too hard to make Sky Strikers actually disappear, and if you are, you better be using my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for these high-end ridiculous buyouts you're already doing. Shizuku has now been spiked down to 4 listings. I think there was only 6 before, and is almost $200 with one seller stopping it from being so. I would not be buying these out, but you know, people do love past formats like the Eternal format, which could be picking up some steam right now, as Galatea is also towards $100 freaking dollars. I missed when this one happened. I know she's been bought out again and again and again, so she's pretty easy to make disappear, but what the heck is happening? You know what? I haven't even looked it up. Let's actually look up Colossus. Like, I wonder, like, what is happening with him? Thunder Dragon Colossus, Ultimate Rare, ban list bait. Yep, still towards 6969. Nice, around $70 and sticking. This is pretty ridiculous for a banned card, isn't it? Secret Rare Movie Pack has been doing well for itself. The Blue Eyes White Dragon is short printed within the set and has had multiple buyouts. And the Dark Magician, I suggested this as a penny stonk long ago at $3.50. First time in a long time I had people mad at me when it jumped towards $10. My Dark Magician girls! Yeah, I'm not too worried about you guys in the comment section getting mad about me over your waifus. Dragon maids. But with Dark Magician girl, she is now around 20 solid and has been for some time. And Blue Eyes, that's been getting a ton of buyouts on almost every single version. Look up the Ultimate Rare, the DT. They've all been getting looked up and being short printed in this pack. I also suggested that as a penny stonk for 3.5, but didn't move at all when I suggested it. That's the funny thing about Market Watch. I can mention something as a passing joke even. It spikes. I heavily suggest something. I sleep. Resident sleeper on that suggestion, John, and it still turns out pretty well. But yeah, this movie pack, as much as we made fun of it, is one of the nicest versions of the movie pack and definitely had some stonks to be pointed out in the past. Whatever I think about a set, I'm still going to give suggestions within the set, and I think there are things to play and roll the dice in within those sets. Storming Mirror for Secret Rare bought out. It only has one other holo competitor. First editions are 60. Unlimited's freaking bought out completely. This one's kind of wild. The only other holo being premium gold, and you have an ultra rare without ultra foiling. Just the gold letter rares, as we call them. Vampire Takeover. Vampires aren't really taking over, but this card has spiked in price. You have new vampire support coming out of Ghosts from the Past, and this has been bought out. You get a field spell and a revival. Good for you. With all the Buster Blader stuff has been staying pretty crazy. If you look up Destruction Sword, you can see a lot of cards you might not have thought were money, but are worth a good amount. And the Prologue actually spiking above $1. Destruction Swordsman Fusion, specifically from the Mega Pack, though. The other versions are like 50 cents, and I think there's 2 other versions. But a lot of different buyouts within very specific types / cards of the Destruction Sword archetype. Water is wet, and so are the buyouts. We see Atlantean Dragoon getting a buyout despite having those fresher copies on a market. Well, they're not so fresh after that charity drive Konami did with the soup cans. This was one of the Astral packs we waived for that. We waived. But 130 quickly disappears because there are very few listers. If you're in the market for this, I would probably get it sooner than later, as we actually see tons of Mermail and Atlantean buyouts. First edition of Bestius back above 60 towards $79. Megalos, the supers might be somewhat penny stonks at this point, one of the only holos, the rest being battle packs, although people love those Starfoils. You see the Unlimited is still readily available, but first edition rebought out the point of about $60, and I thought I had another water card. My bad. Next surprise buyout, Machina Metal Cruncher again, $18. Hello, Megatons will be happening at some point, and you have so many different cards inside of these for the amazing sets, which fall under all these revolving Eternity Code buyouts and Rise of the Duelist buyouts. But one big thing I forgot to mention about the Megatons again is them getting pushed back, pushes them back a decent place behind Dawn of Majesty, where people are going to want to play. I got my hands on these cards, I want to do things, and so these buyouts, you have Remote Duel Extravaganzas, Remote Duel YCS coming up. People are gonna need their cards, and Megaton's getting pushed back further kind of hurts when you got that itch to play and get good with your deck. And this deck has been very popular. I played a lot against it in stream. I know Winter's Kills is on it, and this keeps getting bought out. I do respect the deck, though. And Malakota, you owe me a soda. I actually owe somebody a soda. I won a soda off them because of this card, but now I owe them a soda off of Live Twins holiday support. Malakota got bought out, secret rare, to the point of $18. It never got a reprint, only has 2 versions, the other being a freaking ghost that has had its own revolving weird buyouts. First edition is back down towards 50, weird to say down, but yeah, that's gonna end our market watch on a pretty weird note. Hopefully I presented this all in a timely manner. Please subscribe if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these conversations. Let me know what sets you're actually most excited for upcoming. I think a lot of people are looking at the Megatons, but that's where I think people are sleeping on something like King's Court or Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm. Dawn of Majesty is by far the core set that people are most excited for that I've heard in a long time. There are cards that are exciting in Lightning Overdrive. Still would be buying the singles most likely. That last Starlight, you're still in 1 in 10 cases, since there's 5 different Starlights, no matter how hype that Starlight ends up being, but could be fun speculatory on the sealed. So many upcoming products that are not named Ancient Guardians. I would definitely stick the singles in here no matter what you're after.